I
Hey
disagree.
everyone, welcome back to Homeschool, the podcast where Andrew Rivers and I do 10 minutes of jokes while a guest heckles us, and then we talk about comedy, current events, and our social lives. So just comedy and current events. This week we welcome Mike Masilotti, who travels internationally doing stand-up and just recorded a dry bar comedy special that will be released in early 2021, which is exciting. We can attest that is a good thing for your career and for internet fodder and trolls. He's also been working super hard during quarantine, opening up the Third Wheel Podcast Studio in Seattle. Say hey, Mike.
What's up, everybody?
All right, glad to have you. Before we get started, we do want to let folks know where we're going to be performing live in the upcoming months. Andrew, what do you got? Anything?
February 11th through 14th at Bricktown Comedy Club, Oklahoma City. Hopefully adding something in Louisville, Kentucky, and maybe something in Colorado. Those are some vague messages, but I'm going to will it into existence like those hot girls say it works. You just got to imagine it. It's on my vision board. We're going to make it work.
You're kind of a sad act for Valentine's Day now. Is that
yeah. Hey, kids are dead. Isn't that fun?
I'm gonna get her back with these jokes.
Hey.
All right, I'm gonna be at Stir Crazy Comedy Club in Glendale, Arizona, February 5th through 6th with Dwayne The Rock Perkins and
wow.
I don't even know if that's.
I was like, wow, things are if Dwayne The Rock Johnson is doing comedy clubs,
we're in real trouble.
We're in real trouble. Nobody could outsell that guy.
February 24th through 27th at the Looney Bin in Tulsa, Oklahoma. When The Rock got killed, by the way, I was like, oh, we're gonna have a cure in a week and a half. Like nobody wants this. And maybe if they let me cross the border or there isn't a wall built before then, I'll be in Calgary, Canada, at the Comedy Cave, April 6th through the 11th. Mike, we'd love to see you live if you have anything coming up. What do you got, man?
February 4th through 6th, I will be at the Looney Bin in Wichita, Kansas. And then February 10th through 14th, I will be at the other Looney Bin, but this time in Little Rock, Arkansas. Right. And that's really all I got coming up at the moment.
Hey, that Wichita, make sure you go with Wiz. He's awesome. Have him take you to the barbecue spot. Actually, he works there.
Nice.
Cigar joint, if it's open up. It's walking distance from the
a cigar spot.
Comedy condo. We're not allowed to say where the comedy condo is. Anyhow, and
just say it's across the street from the comedy club.
Hey, you can't. Meanwhile, like 8 Ubers a week pick people up there and drop them off. But anyway, it's great if it's open, cigar spot outdoors. And
I just started smoking cigars, dog.
Oh, you gotta. I can't remember the name of it, but it's real great.
I like my cigars filled with marijuana.
He rolls his own cigars.
Yeah, it was hard to learn not to. I threw up because I was accidentally inhaling randomly because I was so used to smoking weed that I was, then that's real. I instantly puked. I had to pretend I was like sick from something I ate because I felt like a rookie. And I was like, oh, I think I ate bad pizza and just threw up in the bathroom from fucking cigar.
It was something I ate, the cigar.
Well, let's talk about that after. I'm excited to learn about the cigar world.
Me too, dude.
Hey, well, let's do some jokes after a 3-second pause because we don't like to edit.
Hey, welcome back to Homeschool, episode number 26 with Cory Michaelis. I'm Andrew Rivers. Not much to talk about this week since Trump deleted his Twitter. So this and all future episodes of this podcast will be dedicated to The Bachelor from now on.
All right. And just like our angry trolls on Facebook have said all along, our jokes will disappear when Trump leaves. But our erections will return.
Hell yeah, they will. We demand free and fair erections. Matt James is hot.
I measured my erection and I would like a recount.
Fucking Wang Gang, you know what I mean?
Yeah. How hard is it to count to 3? Yeah. Hey, boom. We are broadcasting from Seattle, Washington, because I'm not about to claim Renton like I'm trash.
Right.
And, I was worried about our friend Katie's drinking over the summer, but turns out she was just building her tolerance for this reality show. Every scene on The Bachelor is them drinking and fighting each other. I don't know how the producers come up with this genius material for a TV show.
Yeah, how do they get the controversies? It's crazy. Well, what do you think was going to happen, right? The Bachelor's basically Survivor if they let contestants shape, right? It's like not about love. It's a reality show. Like The Apprentice didn't really let Trump run a country. It was just fake, like most of his companies.
Yeah. You mean my Trump University degree is worthless? Well, damn it. Even if Katie doesn't find love on The Bachelor, after all that making out on camera, it's still a great resume builder for when she gets into porn.
Right. You know this Katie lady, Mike? Anyway.
I was like, it sounds like a budding OnlyFans career to me. So that sounds like.
Well, I think, we were going to politics, right? She wouldn't be the worst reality show president we've had.
Ooh, shots fired. Joe Biden, you suck. Hey, perfect. Now that she just turned this podcast off, we can talk all the shit we want. Fuck you, Katie. Just kidding. We love you, dildo girl, and good luck on The Bachelor, and go fuck yourself.
Dildo girl, does that help you figure out what she is? All right.
There's a lot of those in my life.
He's like everything I watch on a TV screen is.
Yeah, he's been looking at my internet search history, I guess.
The Seattle area, by the way, missed opening up to phase 2, which would have allowed indoor comedy at 25% capacity. So close, just 1% increase in hospitalizations that caused it. Like, it feels like we were promised a car if we got straight A's on a report card, but we got 1 B plus, right? Like, sorry, you got to stay outside on your bike.
Sorry, here's a bus
teacher
pass.
Was a dick. Yeah, the teacher was a dick. It's not my fault. Mr. Michaelis wouldn't.
That is
wouldn't
bullshit. If it's 1% off, you
that's
feel
what
like
I mean, like,
what is that?
Round up. I mean,
yeah, exactly. I don't know.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, we would have been closed down like a week or 2 later anyway, but it would have been nice to have like some legal gigs for a second.
See who gets booked.
But hey, I'm sure most of our fans are from the Seattle area. So if you're listening to this in Seattle, stay home, stay safe. We're almost there. Just stay home, especially if you have coronavirus. Stay home. Don't go to the hospital, okay? That 1% fucked us. We got to tough this thing out, Vitamin D, vitamin C. You'll have plenty of chances to catch corona at our shows once things open back up.
There you go.
Right. And also, how about this? Maybe vitamin D and C. Just fly to Washington, D.C. for the inauguration, right? There you go.
Hey.
Plus, that's easy to do, right?
It's bad. It might get you killed, but hey, sounds like a plan. I'll meet you there with all your other bald white guys.
It seems like the Capitol's been popping lately.
That's the best club.
Yeah,
I'll fit right in.
Hey, set your phasers to 1. Gyms are already back open now under phase 1. I am excited to have a healthy option for being out of breath.
Well, and how many people feel obligated to go to the gym now? Like, this is the most obligated you've ever felt.
It's actually pretty empty. I think the word hasn't gotten out that it's like, it was real hush hush where they're like, we're open again. But it's been pretty empty when I go.
Yeah, like all these people with New Year's resolutions, and they're like, oh, I made that with the anticipation these would be closed until April.
Yeah.
Also, don't you have other healthy options for being out of breath? Have you tried sex? I mean, that's a good workout.
You ain't got to tell me, buddy. I'm usually wiped out by the time they're in my trunk. But hey, I'm just curious, what are the 4 categories for opening up safely?
I looked it up. I think it's ICUs under 90% occupancy, a positive rate of less than 10%, the number of available parking spaces at a Trader Joe's, Every sitcom with people wearing masks gets canceled. Quit your fucking virtual simulating and just do your stupid show.
Hey, I read that because of the pandemic, animal shelters are running out of dogs to adopt. So just a matter of time before some desperate woman finally adopts me.
Rest. Well, and I know how much you like being on a leash with a collar.
Yeah, they are running out of dogs. I got a dog during this, and he's deaf. I got like the leftover.
You got the last one available.
I was like, "What do you guys got? Yeah, anything?" Like, we got this deaf dude in the back. I was like, "I'll take him."
You don't even have to train him.
Yeah, yeah, it's awesome.
Man, I thought you were about to say dead. I was like, glad he said deaf.
Well, he will be in a few weeks.
Yeah, no, he doesn't listen that well, so
I can teach him sign language. I know the sign language. So just kidding. Oh, by the way, on a related note, Andrew is stuck in phase 1 also by much more than 1%. It's phase 1 of trying to find a girlfriend, and I know gonna advance.
Yeah, in order to advance to phase 2, I just need 90% of my credit card balance paid off, 10% extra length on my penis, and a sitcom.
There you go.
We're real close.
We've been watching TV. Oh, our besides this, our good friend Tommy John again show he writes for just came out Wednesday. There's lots of TV stuff coming out. Have you watched anything interesting, Andrew?
I meant to watch Tommy's show, but I'm lazy. But I've been watching this show actually called Manhunt. It's about the Unabomber.
Oh.
Trying to see if there are any long-term side effects to isolation. Just, I know if I make it through 10 episodes without relating to the bomber, then I'm still in good health. And
how far are you in?
6. It's getting real dicey here, but the episode on the 96 Olympics bombing was crazy because I forgot about that story. The FBI framed the wrong guy, and he had to go on 60 Minutes to clear his name like 3 months later.
Jesus.
60 Minutes. That's such a good news program because they really sit down and explore the topic from all the angles, right?
Yeah.
Every news program today should just be called 60 Seconds. Here you go.
Yeah.
And my porno. Hey.
There you go.
Speaking of 60 seconds, that's how long the Seahawks lasted in the playoffs. But it's kind of cool. The NFL broadcast one of the games on Nickelodeon last week. Like at first it was all right or whatever, but I realized isn't that a little bit of a violent sport for a children's channel?
Hey, maybe, but we do have to train them to buy cigarettes and alcohol and learn how to be adults. Okay, it's never too young for that. But it is a confusing game, even for most drunk adults. Did they do anything special because it was on Nickelodeon?
Yeah, they actually did a pretty good job of explaining it to the kids. Like the end zone was called the slime zone, and it had like animated graphics. So every time a player entered the slime zone, the TV would be covered in slime, and SpongeBob would pop out and be like, "Look, kids, this is what happens to their brain after 20 years. Yay!"
Fun game for sports. Hey, thank God there were no fans. I can't imagine a kid at a Raiders game with a 300-pound shirtless man wearing a skull on his head with a reaper sickle. Hey, kids, that man wakes up early and paints a bird on his face. That's an early sign of depression.
He's a really big fan of Sesame Street, as I guess I tell him. It's just fucking, it's the closest thing.
Halloween in January? This is a weird game.
4 downs.
It's crossing too much. I don't know.
It's all crazy, right? But sure, it was, maybe a great opportunity to teach them lessons during the game. Like remember, kids, never punch in the face or you'll be ejected from the game. You got to make sure you do it when nobody is looking. Be the first, always be the first to punch. It's the second guy that gets caught.
Yeah.
I was crazy. I was wondering what happens when there was a major injury in the game. They had to bring out an ambulance. Like, what do the announcers do with that? Just looks like that man has an owie. Sing it with me, kids. Yeah, the head bone's not connected to the neck bone anymore.
Ooh, going into a blue tent. Is he going?
That's fucking great.
No, he's about to get a lot of drugs, actually. But you should never try them. They're not good for you.
He's about to have a lot of Flintstones vitamins right now. So he's gonna pump them full of them. So
just IV full of
yeah.
Only vitamin, never real drugs, even though they make you feel really, really good and allow you to continue your job.
And communicate in public with friends.
Right. They really feel like that hug your father never gave you. Don't do them.
So that's also what the Super Bowl feels like, but most of you will never get there.
Or Disney Worlds.
Yeah. I'm impressed how they explained rules and penalties. Those are pretty complicated. Hey, Daddy, what's a catch? Well, it's when a defender gets 2 feet on the ground, maintains possession, and then makes a football move. And then, you know what? Can I just explain where babies come from? This is way easier.
It's difficult. Yeah. And also, kids must have been confused. Hey, why don't you give me a massage and feed me water when I'm in timeout? This seems way better.
Yeah, all these people drinking Gatorade that I could never afford, just jugs of it, pouring it on each other. Can I drink that? I'm drinking Mondo over here. What is
Tyreek Hill likes pickle juice. What's wrong with you? Yeah. Well, anyway, hey, a week ago, a bunch of dumbasses planted pipe bombs outside the Capitol building, and nobody's really talking about it anymore. So that's very exciting.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. I love that the working class, fuck your feelings, get out of the country if you don't like it crowd is literally trying to overthrow the government because a billionaire lost the election.
Yeah. Suddenly they all want unity. Hey, we'd like to welcome liberals to link their arms together in prayer outside the Capitol building. We're locked up, so we can't make it. But you guys go ahead.
Also, I hope you got your tickets for the Trump train, because it might be filling up now that everyone is on a no-fly list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder now, I feel how many people are going to come dressed up as different animals now because that one bison guy? Now everyone feels bro, I got this crazy bearskin rug. I've been
dying in a banana suit.
Yeah, it's going to turn into something that's not, just a show off what you can wear.
I think they're going to wear gorilla suits and mock.
Yeah, well, FBI was arresting people at airports all week. I don't know if you saw any of that footage on Twitter. It's very exciting. They found some people because they logged on to the Capitol's free Wi-Fi during the riot. Literally, they're in the middle of a riot. I've got no bars. Yeah, just wait.
Oh, that's hilarious.
They are coming, those bars.
Those bars will be right there.
It's so funny. Someone's sitting there what's the Wi-Fi? And there's
well, 6969. What's the password? Trump 2020. MAGA, all caps.
Lowercase, or I'm not getting it.
No, MAGA, all caps. It's like the poster. Didn't you?
1, 2, 3,
the thing
4.
on Parlor. Yeah.
Password's password. Mitch McConnell. He even finally admitted that Trump committed some impeachable offenses. Is pretty slow on it, but in his defense, he is a turtle. So
I was gonna say, his brain doesn't work fast. So
neither do his hands or his blood vessels. Apparently,
I know, right? So
how's that guy alive?
Many Republicans don't want the impeachment because it will only piss people off more. They're taking that position of unity, like the other folks. Stop being divisive, everyone. Republicans are basically hey, don't blame us for wanting to kidnap Nancy Pelosi, right? Look what she was wearing.
An African scarf?
Oh.
Yeah, apparently they had a ton of zip ties, which is just so funny.
This was funny, the Ben Shapiro and Mike Drucker getting into it. I don't know if you saw that thing floating around, but Ben Shapiro was trying to do everyone I know buys zip ties. And it was not everyone you know is storming the Capitol building wearing military camouflage. Screaming, I can't wait to kidnap Nancy Pelosi. He was clearly working on a remodel project at his home when he brought them to the Capitol. Fucking idiot.
Oh, God.
Well, for about an hour last week, we all thought and prayed that Trump had resigned, but it turns out a disgruntled employee just hacked into the official website and made a change to make it seem like his term was over due to COVID, but apparently not.
Yeah, same exact thing happened to me actually. A disgruntled employee did the same thing on my website.
Really?
Made it seem like COVID ended my career. Yeah.
Oh.
It was me. I'm the disgruntled employee.
Yeah. Well, I would be disgruntled if you were my boss also. Why aren't you touring? Make us some money. This
I'm the
sucks.
CEO. I'm like a golfer whose caddy is mad at him because can you make a putt, please? Doing all the work
I'm
here.
telling you what to do. You suck at this.
It's going to be a wild week, is a phrase I could have said before any week in the last 4 years. But this one.
True. But this week we have the inauguration and allegedly, supposedly 100 presidential pardons to look forward to on Tuesday.
I hope he pardons the Tiger King Joe Exotic, not because I care about that guy. I just think the country needs to come together on something, and that something should be hating Carol Baskin. I think that's the only thing that's going to get us back on track.
Well, I'm sure he'll pardon very fine people from both sides.
Yes, they're all very fine. We love you.
Yeah, good
You're
luck,
very
Lil Wayne.
special.
You're special.
Go home.
Everybody loves you. You're worth something. That brings us to our sponsor for this week, Netflix. They don't know it, but they are sponsoring us because
they helped write all these jokes. That's why they're our sponsor.
Yeah. Hey, we welcome us, Netflix. You're gonna do a new movie a week. How about a new comedy special a week? Oh wait, you've already been doing that for the last 5 years. Not giving any of us one. Yeah.
I mean, as if the dry bar wasn't enough evidence that the people demand to see Corey Michaelis and Brad Upton and me as like a late round, 5th round pick option. But hey, Mike Masilotti about to be super dry bar comedy Mormon famous here pretty soon.
My shit got filmed I did the last one before the shutdown in COVID.
Oh wow.
And they so I didn't even know if I was going to be able to do it. And then they hit me up that morning saying, like, they told us, like, they were fighting with the city to stay open that last weekend. And then they shut down right after that. But it's been almost a year, dude. It was March 14th, and it still didn't come out. I'm like, do they hate it? Are they not putting it out? I thought I did well. Like,
yeah. It took 8 months for mine to come out. That's how long it takes to add laughter. But
they are behind on a lot of things. We will attest to.
Okay, good. Well,
give me my money, bitch.
Hey, Keith reached out to me and was like, "Hey, you want to do a second one?" And I was like, "Well, I would like to finish getting paid for the first one, and then we'll see."
Hey, I don't even have material for a second one. You guys are fucking balling, dog.
I didn't when I was close when he asked because they only need like 20 minutes now, I think.
Oh yeah.
25 maybe, or I don't know. And then now in the last few months, I've gotten closer, but I don't know if I don't know what's going on. Anyway, glad to have you. Excited for you when that comes out. Do you have a Facebook fan page, by the way?
Yeah, just at Mike Masilotti.
Yeah, that'll help you with that dry bar. Get some people pushed to that as much.
There you go, man. Trying as you can, whatever.
You're gonna get a million friend requests, and you're gonna be like, I don't want you to be my friend.
I'm like, dude, I'm just gonna have the biggest faith-based following, dog. I can't wait.
They like
it's a surprising amount of non-religious people. It's a surprising amount of like just regular people that stumble upon it.
Yeah. That's true. My buddy has the Dry Bar app on his phone, and he's like scrolling through, like, do you know this guy? And I was just like, yeah, that's my friend. He's like freaking out. He's a non-comic dude out here. Funny. And it's just like, dude, I know these people. I see them all the time. I didn't know that
They're not as famous as you think. They're very depressed. They're even having me on their podcast next week. It's not that exciting. Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Where are you at these days?
I'm in LA right now. Just mostly here. Everything's shut down though.
Yeah.
Same as Washington. Yeah.
That
the whole West Coast is in agreement that they're like, hey, we'll just work together.
Yeah. And not do it.
Apartment.
Although Portland was open for a little bit over the summer for I don't know, but maybe they're still open. I have no idea.
Yeah.
They aren't. I don't think. Did you same apartment that I visited that one time?
No, I'm on Hollywood Boulevard right now in a place I can't really afford, but COVID helped us out, kind of thing.
Can't kick me out, bitches.
Yeah. And my girlfriend's a doctor, so that helps. You know what I'm saying? I just got a little
great.
Yeah, no, I got lucky. Got one of
Hey,
those.
you pay the rent and
Yeah.
I'll save lives with my jokes.
I think when you come home bummed, I'll make you laugh. So let's do that, you know.
So you
But
have to be super careful then, probably, to not.
oh yeah, I don't go near. I don't kiss her. I make her sleep in the closet. Honestly, she's been wearing the mask before COVID just because of the
She
Asian
was in the
thing.
closet before you dated her, also. But,
Yeah,
Sure.
but yeah, I don't know. She comes home. I don't know. I guess she gets tested every. I haven't gotten tested, but she gets tested every day. So I'm just like, as long as you're good, I'm good. That's my
okay.
yeah. But she
But
just got her
you haven't
vaccine.
you toured at all or done any like shows or anything?
Yeah, if I'm legally supposed to be tested, then I'll say I got tested.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I don't know whether when you get on a plane.
No,
They're like,
I don't.
hey,
I just meant like you haven't
oh no.
worried about getting it really, or you
No,
just
I don't
like
know. I wear my mask all the time anyway, and
right.
I just don't, I was already kind of not a germaphobe, but I was always conscious of that, just like touching shit and not having people breathing in my face anyway. Of like, and I'm not, but on the planes, it's been great. All the planes have been half empty, which is like
Yeah,
when
it's great.
it's amazing. Like I hate people are talking about don't fly right now. It's just like keep that out there. Don't fly right now. When
Yeah,
I
this is
go,
the best time.
Don't go to
Security's
great.
5 fucking minutes. Yeah.
Dude, for real. I have PSA pre-check. It's not even worth it right now because the whole fucking airport is pre-check. Like
Yeah.
you just walk through. So
That's fine. Did you?
Yeah.
So you've been. I mean, we're like learning all these new things and how to do them. You open a podcast studio, which is pretty wild. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But that's you're like skilled in that kind of shit, aren't you? Yeah.
Dog, for real, I'm not. It's the funniest thing, dude. I built one in my apartment just because I thought me and my friend should have a cooler looking spot. And then we got to the point where people thought it was a studio we rented. Because like if I turned the camera to the left, it was my kitchen. To the right was our front door. Like we just had it perfectly mapped out. And then people, after they hit us up asking to rent it, we decided, me and my buddy Nolan decided, like, let's go rent a studio and then or a little office, turn it to a studio, and then rent it out just enough so we could get a free podcast for us. And then it turned into literally before COVID, man, like we quit our jobs. Like we have one in LA right now. And we were like, that was the main focus. And then COVID kind of hurt. But during all this, we just got the second location in Seattle. So now it's kind of like we had time to really learn. Like now I feel like I know more. But in the beginning, it was just, we didn't know how crazy this was. Like if I knew what this, even legally, dude, like the paperwork, I would have never done this shit. Like it was like an accidental, like this is working, let's keep doing it. But like Nolan's wife helps out on everything that's boring. I just tell her like just fill it out and tell me what to do. And thankfully that happened. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm not like people call me all the time asking for a question. I just Google it because I don't fucking know, man. Like, I have no idea what to do. It's working, but barely. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel like an expert at all. Like it's like I'm self-taught. Like I can play the guitar. You ask me to do a G chord. I'm like, I don't know. I can do it if you show me it, but it's like that. So.
Oh, wild.
Yeah.
And then how do you from LA, Nolan's in Seattle, I assume?
Yeah, he moved. Well, he's in Seattle part-time because we were just talking about doing a second one somewhere. And I don't know, I came up doing comedy in Seattle and I love Seattle a lot. Like, and dude, it was so wild. This is a true story. I moved to Seattle 10 years ago, January 1st, 2011. And then January 1st, 2021, I opened the door of our studio. So 10 years to the day later that I moved there. Cause like, it was a big deal. I moved from New York.
Serendipity.
Yeah, dog. It's like a dumb movie where you wouldn't believe it. And then like I was sitting there on the first and I was like, holy shit, dude, this is 10-year. Like it's so nuts, man. But I love Seattle. So we just decided like, let's give something back, I guess. I know a dumb way. Like we want to hook comics up. And I just really thought that like bringing something like that there would be cool. And then Nolan was like, well, I'll go up there, help develop it. Then he can jump back and forth. And so can I. And then we just found COVID, we found a cheap location that we thought we could try. And so far, so good. We had Monica Nevi on our first, she recorded through there and it was like fucking dope. And if you guys ever want to use it, let us know. We'll hook you guys up hard. Cause I don't know. It's the idea is like, you guys get it. Like being able to do this, especially on our own is like it. And I'm noticing so many people are even leaving TV and because all these TV shows are done. And then they're hitting us up about using the studio because they're trying to keep their personal thing going, not relying on a gatekeeper or an industry or something, because it all doesn't, I don't know, I think it's all fake. Like we got passed at the Improv, we were working there for a while, and then nothing like changed. It just feels like, oh, they just said, like, it's all nothing. I think you have to wait for this gatekeeper to tell you, hey, go on tonight. And it's just still, so we just want to build our own shit. And then again, like Seattle to me was so great that I just love seeing people taking over more now. And I love helping people do their own shit. Cause that's, I mean, yeah, dude, the more I rely on other people, not other people as in comics are the shit to me, but like upper people that have power, like they yield it too much. Even all the clubs and stuff, it's so hard to find. Like our goal is we want to open a club next in Seattle, and it's just not even to make money, just to break even, have the studio pay for the space for us to do shows, and not serve chicken fingers. So I'm not getting I'm not talking to some guy with a full mouth in front of me. Like it's crazy to me how much comedy isn't comedy. And I know, I don't know, I get it. I worked at a lot of clubs, but like, so our idea is to kind of bring that back as much as we can, or that feel of shit. And Seattle's such an underrated city. Like so many of the funniest comics in LA too, like Fahim Anwar, Sergio, Solomon Giorgio. I mean, Nick Thu, like all these people are down there, and they're Kelsey Cook, they're killing it. And it's like Seattle, so they always say LA, but it's like, well, they're not really LA, they're Seattle. And it's so many of those. And it's like, I don't know, man, Seattle needs, I just want to help add the recognition to that city.
Yeah, it needs some more attention up in the area.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
hell yeah, man.
Without having to travel. I mean, that's what sort of Corona's sort of made everyone like get on TikTok, get on all these things, and just put your stuff on the internet, because who knows, you know?
Yeah. But you guys are killing
waiting for some company or, you know, like whatever.
Yeah.
Well, and you can anymore. It's just like a $150 round trip, like anywhere in the country. I mean, like you don't have to live in it. You just go to LA anytime you want if you needed to go to LA for something, I think. And
right.
Yeah.
I don't
especially
know.
now, man. Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing I think about missing out is like New York is sort of like a city where things just pop up with like a week, and they go, hey, we're putting together this showcase, and then they will be like, come out, and I'll be like, I mean, I got a whole thing to work around.
Yeah.
But I also do, like, you know, I went out for this Tonight Show thing, and then it was like, cool. Now what? And they're like, well, we don't know. And I'm like, what is anything is. Are they talking about me behind my back? Are they going, well, we don't know. Like, I just have my manager like barely responds to emails. Like no one cares anymore. So it's just like, you know, they're waiting to take the money that you earn.
Dude, for real. Yeah.
You know,
they want you to make it, and then they want to take a piece of it. It's
once
nuts.
you get enough attention, then we'll help you. And it's like, well,
dude.
Like,
I noticed that
can
with
you
the
help
studio.
me?
We told people that because in the beginning we were trying to get all of our friends aboard, and they kept telling me like, well, you show me that it's worth it, and then we'll and I'm like, dog, I'm not, what do you like, you show me that it's worth it for you. It's so nuts that it's like, I feel like it's backwards. Like the industry's like, you show us you can get attention, then we'll take a giant chunk of that. And now like even all these giant podcasters, man, like you see them live and they're just like the fans are showing up. And I don't know, I think podcasting is the truest form of comedy now. Because when I did the special, like not like it's a thing, like I noticed like you're so fucking edited. You're not even just like clean or not. Like I know what words I'm gonna basically say. Like there's no, hey, I'm free. Like if you riff a little bit, cool. But basically we know what we're saying. On podcasts, we're riffing, we're talking, we're being real. And that to me is what like these comics are. And now we're connecting with these audiences way beyond what our comedy specials were, what TV even does for people. Because they see you on TV, but now when you hear you on a podcast, that's like a real you. That's like even Anthony Jeselnik on his podcast is like, oh dog, you don't sound anything like what you sound like on stage. And I love it. I love the podcast Jeselnik. He's like a real person and he fucks around and like, it's, I don't know, man. I think that's like the industry, like the Bonfire, Sirius XM just got rid of most of all their shows and they're hiring them back as podcasts now so they can fucking pay them less, dog. It's crazy. Yeah. The Bonfire's gone and now they're offering them a podcast slot on the radio. It's like, you mean a radio spot again? It's so yeah, dude. It's just build your own. Like I'm all about build your shit. And yeah, dude. Like this is great. I love this show. I've actually seen a couple episodes before. Like I was watching Gambas and stuff. So this is just
well,
fun.
It's fun. It's a nice way. I mean, the little monologue thing. I mean, coming up probably if we get to March, we'll have done basically 5 pages of jokes a week for the entire year. And, almost built entirely. I mean, I did a 25-minute special of just COVID jokes or whatever. And Cory's got a ton of new shit. So like, it just felt like, all of your excuses are gone for like, oh, I travel too much, I'm never around, money is always a thing, and then you're like, the government's paying me to stay home, write some fucking jokes. Also, this crazy thing is happening to everybody at the same time. There's got to be some relatable content in there,
and if if you can ever be like have the best whatever joke, like, hey, you can't talk about airplanes, and then like Louis writes the best airplane joke there is.
I was just gonna say on his newest special, his newest special, like 3 times he started a premise, and I was like, really, Louis? And then he killed it, and I was like, oh yeah, like why wouldn't he? Like, so I feel you, man. Yeah, there's always the meat there. A lot of people say don't write COVID jokes, but again, it's like we're all living through COVID right now. Like if you ignore it the whole time you're on stage, it also feels disingenuous to be like, hey, everything is this, not even like, it's so weird.
I did a week in Vegas, and I was trying to like, do really well or whatever. So I did what I thought was my best stuff, but I did feel a sense of like, there's an elephant in the room that I first couple of nights.
Hey, everyone's table is spread out and you're all wearing masks and you're all kind of going, is this a hoax? Are we allowed to be here? What's going on?
Right. So by like night 3, I was like, I better reference that a little bit more, and it worked way better. But that actually reminds me though, when you were working at the Underground, one of my favorite videos, I gotta post this video somewhere, maybe, I don't know, but on the wall they have all the pictures of all people who have headlined the club and things like that, and you were putting mine up, and I was like, oh, that's fun. And I was like, who am I replacing? And you were like, Louis C.K. Take that one down. And I was like, well, there's a lot of problems here. We should not be replacing that.
Well, I'll say I didn't move. I was because I was there but not working there. No. I was there but not working there when that happened.
Oh, that's right.
Like, yeah. Because I put those pictures up, by the way. I got in a lot of trouble for that by John Fox. Like that whole hallway was empty. And I remember we knew, like someone said there was this legend of the old club. I never was at the old club. I don't know if you guys were. That's before my time.
I never went there.
Few times. Okay. Yeah.
So I guess they had like Mitch Hedberg pictures and like all these like who was the other guy, like Todd Cotter or some shit like that. And I was just like, they have all these pictures, like, and where are they? And they were literally like in the back annexes of the Underground, like covered in rat shit. But it was disgusting. So we cleaned them up, we hung them up, and then we printed out, like, we went through all of like the who performed at the Underground, and we just start in that list that's upstairs that tells you all those names, and we just printed out all those pictures. And bro, people used to steal money from the fucking Underground every goddamn week working the door. If I could take damn money to put it back into that club, I was gonna do it. And I told Fox that, and he got really mad at me because he's like, who paid for this? And I was like, you guys did. You think I'm gonna pay for this shit? I'll do the work. And he flipped out, and now people take pictures in front of it and shit, and I don't want credit for it, but it was a big deal when like that like Fox and me argued about that. Like I almost got fired for putting those damn pictures up. And then when they took down Louis, I got mad about it because I was like, yo, dog, like as much as you guys get mad at Louis, like that guy's still like a beast of a comic, but I wasn't already a manager then. But then Cory went up and I was like, all right, I don't mind. I like
Cory. Well, it's funny that like, because that's the worst thing a Comedy Underground employee has done. Put up pictures, really inexpensive pictures. How dare you?
For real, dude.
I won't speak about what other people have done, but it's well, the Underground. Yeah, I mean, Underground's great when it's I'm about to release the video of my album on my YouTube because I was like, why not do that?
Yeah.
And, it's filmed at the Underground, and
very cool.
Secretly, I didn't tell him I was doing it because I heard he charges people or tries to take money or something.
Yeah.
Without telling him, and here you go.
Good for you, man. Don't worry, he's not tech savvy. He'll never see this or hear this.
I don't think he will.
Go to the website. That shit's fucking GeoCities, basically. GeoCities.com/comedy underground.
Yeah.
He also might still be like annoyed. What does he run anymore? But he might be annoyed.
Yeah, that's like your comedy club that probably is bankrupt already. Like,
yeah.
I do want him to do the competition at my venue, like we've done every year the last 6 years. But that, whatever. If that doesn't happen, I'll be fine.
There you go.
He was trying to co-produce shows with me and Everett, and it was like fine, you know. But I was putting in a lot of work to make like $150 in the end, because it's, you know, he thought like basically a lineup that I would have at my Emery's show every month on a Sunday was what he was trying to sell at a theater. And they weren't like contributing to selling tickets. I was like, well, you're trying to charge $30 for what I charge $10 for every and it's gonna work. And so we parted ways on that, and he was initially mad at me. Whatever.
You have a lot of amicable separations there, Cory.
I do. My divorce.
You do. Hey, we're still friends, but I'm not letting you control my money anymore.
Exactly. That's the same conversation with every.
Yeah. That should be, if you have a podcast by yourself, it should call "We're Still Friends." And just like, hey, we're still friends, but this is what happened. All right.
Well,
but I only want to talk to you on Zoom where there's a mute button.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, and you did your dry bar. You, I mean,
were you nervous for the to be super clean? Did they give you like a whole lecture beforehand? Did they?
So I didn't get any lecture, but all right, listen to this. I almost didn't get it because they offered me the date, and so I don't know. When I get booked, I don't want to ever call the person and say I can't do the show. So I had a food spot at the Madhouse Comedy in San Diego. So I wrote back the guy saying, hey, I'm booked that night. Can I do a different weekend? He didn't write me back. So a week goes by and I tell Billy that, and Billy flips out on me. He's like, you fucking said no for a food spot? And I got like anxiety. I jumped on my phone. My hands were shaking. I was texting him back like, I can do it. I'm so sorry. And then he instantly texted me back like, okay, you got the date. But like, then I wrote the people for the food spot, and they were like, yeah, dude, go record the special. I'll give you that spot again. But I was like, I didn't want to be a dick and say no. And I'm glad I did, because they shut down that weekend, and I went on the road for like 2 months before that just by chance. And then it was like 3 weeks away from recording from when I got told. And I just started working clean, and my jokes are all clean. I just swear. So that's what I was nervous about. Like, I don't have any jokes that I'm like, oh, this is too dirty, but like, I swear here, I swear there. But I did realize after the first set, my sister flew out to see me. Shut up. After the first set,
he can't hear you.
Yeah, I know, right? But I guess I said, oh my God, a bunch. And that was the one thing I heard that they were like not that happy. And then the late set, I just really thought about that, but I wasn't really too nervous. I guess I practiced so much not swearing and just going slow, and like, I don't know. It was really honestly like a weird blur, dog. Like from the second it started, I mean, you guys did it, and I'm still like, I feel so new at all this shit too. So it was and COVID was going on. So it was different, because they were like, they kept telling me, sorry, it's a little different. Usually like the whole balcony up top was empty. My sister was there alone. Well, then they were like, this is usually like this. And then like everyone had a set. So I didn't know how the real way was. But the way I got but it was dope. Yeah, man.
I always think that's funny when that always used to happen when I went to summer camps in high school. Like last week, the weather was amazing. And last month they had this really funny guy, and he was in charge. And you're like, hey, I didn't know any of it. You don't have to tell me.
And I feel like I'm the king of last week. We were sold out.
Yeah, it was sold out. Yeah.
You should have been here last week. It was sold out. I'm like, well, there's 4 people here tonight. So
I was.
Thanks.
So
apparently it wasn't me.
That's good. And oh my God. So Karen Rontowski, she's a cool gal, and she's on one of their like, hey, here's a video of a thing, like, because she did a really good nude, like, not like a dick pic joke basically, but she couched it so well and cleverly that it like killed. But she also did the same thing in her first set. She kept saying, oh my God. And so then like in between sets, she wrote a bit or a joke about it, and I can't remember what it was, but same thing, elephant in the room, it killed, because she's like, I don't mean it like that. Like, I don't even believe in God. Or, I don't know.
Yeah. Dude, she was my neighbor when I moved to LA. I didn't even know her. And she lived across the hallway, and I'd see her every day. And then one day she saw me with the podcast studio when we were building it in my living room. And then she's like, oh, that's cute. You guys do a podcast? I was like, yeah, we do whatever. And then she said something about her. So I started following her. And then when I did Dry Bar, I saw her thing and I texted her. I was like, yeah, I knew you'd tell me you were a comic. And she said, oh, yeah, I do. Yeah. So yeah, dude, I lived across from her for a year and a half. I had no idea she was a comic. And like, I mean, open my front door, there's her front door. Like, oh, wow. Hilarious. Yeah.
She's also a ghost hunter or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Everything I read of her is just like paranormal Karen is her. Yeah, so I thought it was all that stuff. And I see she does a special and it blew my mind.
She just asked to see the ghost manager. All right. And you know who we're talking about? Rontowski?
No idea, but you know.
It's great.
But I'm here, bro.
Like Ghost Karen joke. That's funny.
So you're happy with it anyway. You're happy. You've seen the result. You've watched it.
No, I haven't seen anything, bro. I log on every day to Dry Bar just to see if my clip is up or anything. And the guy I recorded with that night, 2 of them out of the 4 already put them up. So it's like it should be any day. Like I'm waiting for that drop. And I had I messaged them and asked about it. Didn't get a message back. Messaged them and asked if I could name it. Didn't get a message back. I was like, I got a cool name for it. You guys, can we use this? And then
what? Oh, I thought you were. What do you know? What do you want to?
I wanted to name it Spanish because it's all about the whole beginning's about how I'm Spanish, but like Spanish with like a dad in the blackish is the whole thing, whatever-ish. But I want to name it that, and I have no idea. They're probably gonna just take a joke of mine that I have no idea about because that's how I know it is. They take a line that they feel like is you, and that's it. Yeah. That's who you are now.
What do they do for my gun enthusiasts aren't funny? And I'm like, that's not even the premise of a joke. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I saw that. That's just hilarious.
Yeah. Whatever.
But yeah, that's cool. Seattle's doing great with it.
God bless them. Don't say that.
Yeah.
Gesundheit. Yeah, Seattle's had a bunch of guys on there.
Upton, Drew Barth.
Yeah,
they were doing great.
Lassie killed it. And then went into the woods and hiding. Yeah. They just he's a character, man. He just got out. He was like, you know what?
I'm out the game.
All this.
Oh, he really?
Went on I haven't seen him. Yeah.
I don't know.
Dude, the hand tattoo does it. That's fuck society, dude. If you have a hand tattoo, I mean, he's not even a tatted up guy. I saw that and I was like, you are the most ballsy guy. I got gauged ears and hand tattoo is so ballsy, dude. Like, I've wanted a hand tattoo. I don't have the balls for that shit. So good shit, Scott.
Well, you obviously haven't seen his balls. They are tatted up also.
Yeah. They're small but tatted.
So you're gonna have this out, this material out. Have you been utilizing this time to write a bunch, or do you feel like dude, you got anything you're working on that you're like, oh, this is gold?
It's funny. I'm
gonna
really
just be touring with the same act for 10 years and
yeah, I know.
Live
I was
off
really
your
looking forward to
royalties.
doing that. I was looking forward to doing I was gonna say a name. I don't want to just drop it.
Corey Michaelis. It's just he knows who he is.
But I don't know, man. It's hard because like I write. I'm terrible at writing a joke. I hate the cop out of it, but I write on stage. Like I'll have an idea. And I need to see if they laugh, it's funny. If they don't, it's a waste of time. And I've written out so many things I think are funny and put a beginning and a middle and an end. And 2 minutes in, not even, I'm dying on stage. I just bail and start trying to make whatever I just said funny. And that's so I have a couple open mics. I go to this Holocaust memorial at the park, at this dog park, dude. And we go do stand up outside and like I do that, but it's not, but I guess I was writing all this shit about my girlfriend now. And dude, this is no joke. We almost broke up. And I told her, I was like, I need this 15 minutes. And it's all about us getting married and staying together and having kids. So like, we got to fix this. Cause
that's what Corey said about the kid. He was like, don't abort it. I need this material. I need it. Keep it around.
Yeah.
Something in my life to change. You're like, you either stay with me or find me a new girlfriend.
A new Asian doctor girlfriend.
Oh, it's this very specific to her.
Oh, bro, I have a lot of Asian doctor jokes, dude. My last 7 minutes in the special is all about her. And I told her, if you leave me, this. But by the way, that sucks because no girls talk to me after shows. And I'm not saying I want them to, but I want them to. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care. Like, And now
You still
like,
want the attempt, even if they know that you want them to be like, I could get them to trade teams.
Yes. Yeah. I want them to come at me because I'll play some defense. You know what I'm saying? I won't play offense anymore. I told my girl, but like, I'd like to play defense sometimes,
It'd be nice to lead someone along instead of being the one to get led along. I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You want to be the Bruce Bowen of that. That's a post show.
Yeah.
Will you? But like, so do you have like one that you were like, this did work at this Holocaust memorial thing. This is gonna be great when I can actually.
Well, I have a joke that I wrote on the road with Gabe. I opened for Rutledge earlier this year. I just wrote it like I was in Oklahoma, and it did really. I said it to him. He laughed, and I was like, "Dude, it's because it's like the whole. I don't know, man. I hate just. It's like I hate having a girlfriend, but I obviously I like it because I'm with her for 2.5 years, and I hate it. So it's like a lot. It's one of those rough sells. I don't know if I should want. I could tell you, it's such a dumb.
Do the bit, yeah.
It's So it's really based on what the crowd says. So I talk about how my mom hits me, and then I say something about like get hurt, and I go like, ladies, you guys have a higher pain tolerance than men, right? And then they all get excited, like yeah. And I was like, and men hit harder than women, so the math checks out. And it either does. It did great, like 90%, and the 10% it didn't. I had a rebound line of like, hey, sir, like, because it got quiet. And then I pretended to be one of the guys, like, hey, man, we're here to forget that night. Move along. And then that got me a lot. So I kind of found the balance, but it was like, I don't want to not do like, I don't know. I just thought that was funny. And then I also said, don't hit girls, don't hit me. I hit hard. I don't know. So I said something else about self-deprecating bullshit. Because then some girl came up to me after the show and goes, when guys hit me, just so you know, I hit back. And I was like, lady, it's not about that. Like, this is a dumb joke. But again,
like you're overthinking it.
Yeah. Well, she was hitting on you. I think that you got one girl to come up after you after the show. She just threatened to.
Yeah, but again, like But I was nervous about that shit because it's like, I don't know, man. Like, especially in Seattle. I moved to Seattle from New York, where I mean, bro, I was speaking so brashly coming from upstate New York, and I got the Seattle filter, which I actually liked because they helped me. Like, all right, don't just. Like, think about what you're saying and why you're saying it when you're writing a joke. Like, if you're a comic in Seattle, like, they don't let you get by. Like, you need to be good. Even if you're dirty, you have to be fun, like, well-written dirty. And I was, like, learning that. But I even going clean shit, like, to me, that's not a dirty joke, but that's so not part of my set. Like, when I do podcasts, I'll say whatever because I'm talking to my friends. I'm making them laugh. When I'm on stage, I like being clean because I don't like when people get upset. Like, I love Patrice O'Neal. He's my favorite comic. But when he says half the crowd has to be mortified, I hate that. Like, if people get mortified, I'm such a pussy. I'm like, no, like me. Like, say that. I'll say it different. Like, so even those jokes, I get nervous to even try if I think it's funny because it's like, I don't want you guys to not like me. And it's not even, it's just, I want you, it's such a weird, like, I just want you guys to have a good time. And it's so annoying where you do a set, you do all the jokes, someone gets upset. You're like, do you guys know I flew out here to make you fuckers laugh? I want you to have a good time. Like, you think I want you to
my self-worth depends on this. I don't want you to hate me.
Yeah. So I get nervous telling those jokes, but then I feel like a non-comic sometimes. So like, all right, Gabe laughed, but he was like, you can tell it, but they might not like it. And then when they didn't, but again, it's like, fuck, bro, like, can we not try this? But that's why I do like the podcasting. I feel like people get to know you more. They give you more of a leeway because they kind of know who you are. Like, I never met Bill Burr. I know so much about him from listening to his podcast. You know what I mean? So like, if he says some shit, I'm like, well, I know who you are. So that wasn't really meant like that. So I don't know, man. But I'm also just such a please like me kind of a person, which is not good. It's not the best.
That joke reminds me, it's kind of a Chad Daniels type joke of like trying to be a little bit edgy, but when I've watched his progression over the years, and now he's become like super popular and famous, especially on like a lot online in Pandora. But like, he went from like just berating audiences for not enjoying a dark joke to just writing jokes for the scenario of them not liking the joke.
Yeah.
And he's always been great, but I feel like, and I haven't really talked to him about this, he also became better at making some of them a little more palatable.
Defending his point even. Yeah.
And like, so you've already worked on making that palatable, and then having a saver line that's like, responding to their reaction, that kind of thing. But yeah, I watched him the whole weekend work on a joke that was essentially about a kid with autism, and it bombed all 5 shows hard, and it was brand new. And then it became on his album Footprints on the Moon, like a 9-minute bit.
Oh wow!
Murdered, and is one of the more popular bits.
The balls to do that, man.
And it was like there's lots of changes he made, but one of the big ones was he just stopped saying autism. He doesn't use that word in the bit at all. On the spectrum, and then he does a joke about on the spectrum. Like, I thought he was on acid, which doesn't make sense, or something like that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
And so it's like, oh man, he just same story,
dude. Rutledge
story.
Yeah, but he did that for me. I had my closer is a real story about my mom. Like, I fingered a girl at a movie theater. Like, she grabbed my hand, like she did whatever. And then my mom, it's a callback. My mom used to smell my hand to see if I smoked cigarettes. And one day I came home from the movies. My mom asked to smell my hand. And then like it's like the joke was 50-50. Like, it would crush or it wouldn't, but I was always riffing it. Like it's the same thing. Like, I know how to get to the place I'm going. I'm just gonna take a different way every time. So,
how did it do on your dry bar?
I didn't do it on the dry bar. That's the one thing I did not do. Literally, that's the only joke of mine.
Can't imagine why that joke didn't make the cut there.
Yeah, but even
why haven't they released your special?
I know, right? But Gabe helped me clean it up, because in the beginning he's like, "Don't say fingering, say your mom." So he's like, "Stop saying fingers, say hand." And then it's like these weird things about like he's like, and I told like it's
fingers is a little more, yeah.
Yes. And then when I started realizing that, then I learned how to tell the joke to where the point where I'm like going through these minefields of I could say this and you don't get mad, and I can say this and you don't get mad. And then I said it to the point where it's like, oh my God, it's done. But it was a lot. Gabe helped me so much because he liked the joke, but he's like, it's just dirty, and it could not be, because I don't say anything dirty other than like, yeah. So, but it's great. I love that, man. But I don't have the ball. Like, I give comics credit for sitting in the pocket, because dude, I am like, the second it gets quiet, I'm just like dancing, like, please make a noise, bro. Like, I am not there.
I feel that. Yeah. I relate a lot to that. Yeah. Huh. Whew. Yeah. But then a podcast, you don't get to hear their response.
So I can say whatever and I don't give a shit. I just play to the room I got. So when it's me and my friends, we say the craziest dumb shit. And again, I hope I say, dude, my podcast is crazy. And I don't, when I listen back sometimes, like, dude, people are gonna get so mad, but you can tell we're just fucking around. But it's just, to me, like, I'm always just playing for who I'm looking at. And that's why podcasts are also weird, is like, if I knew how mortified people heard me sometimes, I probably would never do the pod. Yeah, I mean, like, if I saw, oh dude, yeah. But it's weird. I have no spine, basically. I'm leaning on this chair because I have no spine. So that's it.
That's great. That's fun. What else? What else going on? You've binged anything during the? I mean, we were.
Oh, dude, I just watched that Night Stalker thing.
Shows, or what's that?
That Night Stalker. You guys watched that at all? It just came
I
out
started it, but it was a little. It was about the murders in L.A., right?
Yes.
Oh.
I heard it was amazing, but I couldn't really get into it. It was like they kept doing a background story on the police officer, and I lost my mom when I was 6, and I was like, can we just get on with this like filler?
I said the same shit. My girlfriend got mad at me. I was like, what does cop have to do? I don't give a fuck about where he grew up. And at the end, bro, they end it with the cop. I go to her as he started talking. I was like, they're gonna end. They started with him talking. They're gonna end with him talking. But I feel you. It was kind of like it was a little corny, but it was so good because I didn't know how the guy got caught. Because I always just realized, oh, he got caught. He was running away. Like someone basically said it was him. One of his friends ratted him out, and then his post was up everywhere. So this guy gets into town in LA. He goes to the convenience store, and there's a newspaper with his picture on it saying Richard Ramirez. This is the guy. So he starts running around. He crosses the freeway. Like, dude, he goes through a small town in LA, and they jump him because he tries to like hijack a car. And then the citizens held him until the cops came with like metal poles and shit and beat him up. And like, that's how he got caught. It's like a citizen's arrest stops the Night Stalker. It's crazy.
Oh, real quick for our listeners, spoiler alert. Okay, keep going.
Oh, there you go. But no, it was just crazy.
But yeah, so it gets interesting, is what you're saying. Hopefully,
yeah, it gets cool. It gets really you forget.
Because I was doing that manhunt thing, which is similar, and
Yeah,
this
yeah.
sort of recreation of it, and telling the story over and over again, and because I
Yeah.
forgot all about that shit when I was like 5 years old, and
Dude, True Life is so much better than anything you can write. Like even that Evil Genius,
Crazy.
the guy with that collar, that
Yeah,
with the
man.
bomb that went off.
Love that
It's
one.
I'm
like
into that stuff.
if you wrote that in a movie, we would be like, that would never happen. That's like that's Saw. That's whatever. Like, nah, this is real life. This happened. Like, fuck, man. When you're writing shit, it's like you can think of anything because real life is probably crazier than any of that shit.
Yeah, I could never write this. I love. Well, and that's so I teach a comedy class, and that's one. Actually, that's one of the harder things to help folks with is to like, because they want to be like, I got such a crazy life, and they're always be like, that's true, and I'm like, that's great.
Yeah.
Super unrelatable because it's so specific to you.
Yeah.
So let's really tighten that up. And what's the relatable part? Make that your premise. This is probably going to be a 30-second joke. And they're like, what? It's a 7-minute story. Then I tell it apart.
Yeah. Yeah, like, dude, I'm gonna be on This Is Not Happening. I got this. Like,
Yeah.
Right, totally.
Yeah, people really, I love it because I think I was the same way. You need to have such fake expectations for what it is. Because if I knew what real comedy was, even now, I would have never gone on stage. Like, it was so stupid for me to think, like, oh, this is hilarious. I've never said this before. But you need that false confidence. But even like someone called me about the podcast studio saying, like, hey, we want to start a podcast. And this lady was being dead ass. And she said, how long do you think until we could sell it to Spotify? And she meant it. And I just was like, oh, honey, this is not this. Do it because you love it. Like, what do you like? Rogan's the only guy that's ever done that. And even it's like, it's
well,
so
I'll tell
crazy.
you, it is not episode 26. So just use that as a ruler. I mean, we're creating the best podcast ever, and they haven't no emails yet. But you know, it's pandemic, so I'm sure they're behind.
Yeah, they're like dry bar. They're falling behind.
Oh God, that's another thing I need.
More employees. And,
yeah, my dry bar checks are sort of running thin, so I might hit them up and go, hey, let's just film another one and get some.
You guys are gangster, bro. That's fucking so dope. I literally, I'm nervous when mine comes out. I'm like, I don't have anything other than the fingering store. I got nothing.
Yeah, man. I mean, you just gotta, it's the dumb. The Artist's Way book is said, don't be afraid of a blank page.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, you should see this thing before we edit it down. It's like full of garbage, and it's just like I'm deleting chunks and going like, I can't even. I'm embarrassed to tell this stuff, but some of the jokes stick around, and I mean, that my special is almost like coming up on 100,000 views, and
yeah, man.
And I have a tiny channel, so it just feels like if you put stuff out, that's why I was telling Cory, like, he's got all these subscribers and he like doesn't even use his YouTube channel, and I was like, just start putting shit out there.
Fucking Cory, dude.
Fucking Cory, but he's gonna put out his thing, and I'll probably steal it and put it on my channel.
And then, yeah, I mean, I was, because I have Andrew as my ruler, so I'm like, geez, like I haven't written anything new. And then I was like, wait a second, I got 20 plus new minutes.
The hard part is working it in. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't get to an open mic.
Because, no mics, no real shows. I've been doing a lot of corporate virtual shows, and they need to be squeaky clean. So I'm like, and I'm trying to earn the $1,000, so I'm not
ruin the show,
But every once in a while I get, like last night I got an opportunity. It was clean also, but it was a show for 240 people virtually, which is crazy. I gotta pick this guy's brain.
Oh yeah, dude.
But I was like, ooh, working this, working that. And
you guys write a lot for this too. Like, I mean, the monologues every week, that's a lot. That's like a writing exercise within itself, even if you don't use those jokes later.
Some of them stick, like he was saying, even because they're like, even if they're written for that specific event that week, you can tweak it to make it work for longer. You can,
Yeah, I ended up doing like I just tested it on some online show, but then it turns into like 2 minutes on Queen's Gambit, and like,
that's dope.
Even as I was writing the NFL on Nickelodeon thing, I was like, some of this stuff might be funny to tell.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
like some of it might just be, you'd have to shorten it and like see what actually works. But like, if you take the best of every week,
Mhm.
you know, turn it into something. The hardest part is like, you know, new material you need to bomb with, and you need to know this one doesn't work, and that, you know, you just have, there's no substitute for a crowd of people. So you like, you can get online and you can go, okay, it seems good, and you can kind of like, after 11 years, it's like, I'm not saying I know every time that a joke is going to work, but I'm like, my hit rate is pretty good at this point to being like,
Yeah,
all right,
will
this one
work.
should work. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And then it's just a
I think the
matter of
working-
tweaking a word or whatever.
Yeah. No, you're right. The working is, to me, the hardest thing. Is like, you have a set that, you know, every transition brings you to this, that brings you throw a new part in, and then when you're done with it, you're like, shit, where was I go? Like, what?
Yeah.
Get me back.
But I mean,
to where...
even Gabe as the example of like, that guy has had several hours that are monster.
Yeah.
And you're just like, how hard to give that up to like, especially for a guy like us, you know, Gabe included, who's still trying to prove his name, you know. It's
but,
like,
yeah.
every time you get a gig, you're like, I hope I do well enough to even come back. And you're like, now I'm going to try 20 minutes of new shit, you know. Even Adam Norwest, who's, you know, a buddy of ours, is like, you know, before my weekend where I filmed my special, he's like texting me like, hey man, just please kill. Like, and I'm like, the jokes work. Just, you know, just bear with me.
Yeah.
Well,
that's nuts, man. I think of that too when Gabe, because he does have so many hours. Like, I tell my friends his jokes and they'll go see him live and he doesn't do them. Like, oh, you have no idea how many jokes he has, that like, I could tell you half hour of his jokes you won't hear him say live. And it's just like, I told him, if he ever did a Netflix, I'm like, bro, you better do best of, Gabe. You could do, I mean, dog.
Well, I think he did that with his dry bar, basically, right?
Oh, okay. Cool. Because that's...
I've only watched bits from his dry bar. I haven't watched the whole thing, I don't think. But I mean, yeah, he's just, and like, so he's great. Gabe Rutledge, if you guys haven't. I guess we should have him. We had him on the live version, but I guess we should have him on the this version. And
I suppose he's earned it.
Yeah. But like, I think the trick might be, and maybe I'm way off on this, but I mean, there's not many clubs that I have where I can like my headline spot secure no matter what I do. I think the trick for me might be in the next 6, 7, 8 months, I don't know, offering like, hey, I'll come feature, and if you agree to not let it affect my time,
we just do a brand new,
and I'm happy to do it, and you know, and not like a douche, but just be like, hey, you know, be a pretty good week, you know, me featuring a great headliner, you know, this stir crazy, Dwayne Perkins is amazing. I'm gonna do all I do. I know the room, I'm comfortable in the room. I don't think I could do, I mean, if I bombed, they might not have me back to headline, but they'll have me back to whatever. And
I know what you mean. It's just a lot of chances, man. You're right. Like the second, like you're joking around about doing the same act for 10 years. Like
I totally understand it. When you feel bulletproof, when you're like, you know, just like, oh, I just wake up and go on stage and didn't even think about it. And then I'm just talking and killing. And you're like, and now I'm like studying my notes and being like, okay, don't forget that. I'm like I want to like get a music stand or like a fucking implant or something, you know?
Yeah, right.
Online gigs are great because you get a Word document. You just like fucking, I'll just read it off here. Yeah.
Strippers aren't trying their new moves on the weekends.
They gotta go to a Holocaust museum and
great callback. Well, Mike, it was phenomenal having you. Where can people find you on the internet?
And what's your podcast called?
It's called Best Champions Podcast. It's a podcast about everything with friends who know nothing. I try to get on like a couple friends every week, and we go over news stories.
Thanks for the invite. All right.
But we just go over, like, I try not to do the news story thing. We just tell stories and shit. We try to be funny. No one takes anything too seriously. We just want to get a laugh. I would check out Best Champions Podcast. You know,
awesome. And what's your handle?
At Mike Masilotti. You guys can find me there, Masilotti, or just whatever. But then Third Wheel Podcast Studio, we have an LA and Seattle location, and it's just a fun place. And I really enjoy being a part of that whole thing. So
Oh
Maybe
man,
we should
we'll
do
have
a
to,
live version there,
yeah.
like we did at the
Oh.
old studio.
Hell yeah, dude.
Is there room for in the future like people to come into that, like sit and watch a live podcast, or is it not quite that big?
Yeah, the one in Seattle, we can have like 5 people, other than there's 4 people in the room with the engineer, then about 5. But we actually, we built it last week. We finally got it finished this week. And our landlord hit us up saying that they went out of business and we need to move our location by January 25th.
What?
Yeah, so we're getting a bunch of money back, which is good. But now we just I'll be back in Seattle next week, building a new location. Not sure where yet, but it'll be bigger. It'll be doper because now we know, COVID prices dropped everything even cheaper than what we paid. So yeah, it's just
Well, my
nuts.
roommate hasn't paid rent in like 6 months, so I'll kick him out and you guys just take over his bedroom if you want.
There you go.
Make it
Sounds
happen.
good, man.
At Mike Masilotti on all the things. Andrew is
At Andrew J. Rivers. Go
And,
check out that YouTube special. Leave a
yes.
comment, thumbs up for the algorithm. Gonna hit 100K this week. We're gonna will it into existence on my vision board.
That's right. Also on his vision board is let's see what's behind your Rainier beer and Sounders stuff.
Yeah.
And a Rainier beer,
Yep.
Rainier's
Pineapple.
And, when I was substitute teaching, I didn't think much of it, but I wore a Tacoma Rainier's hat because like baseball hat while I was substitute.
It's the mountain. Come on. It's the mountain.
And a kid was like, "Oh, my dad drinks that." And I was like, "All right, well,
Gone.
never mind."
Never mind.
That's pretty fun.
I'm at Cory Michaelis Comedy on all of the things. Thank you guys so much. Check out the Patreon for the video. Mike is very handsome, and I'm bald, and Andrew looks cute with his beautiful hair this week. And we will see you next week. You'll see us. Bye.
Later.
No haircut since March.